Alright guys, so the next category mission on our list is going to be the Siblings Bond category for the Legendary Vegeta event. Now, the team I had constructed for this event is actually very straightforward, all things considered. As the title of the video implies, this team is stack defense, basically, throughout the entire event. You probably will see some familiar faces here, most likely than not. You will be running similar teams, I can imagine. But, of course, the team consists of two LR Gohan and Goten leads. Gohan and Goten do get a lot of slack I should say slander for from a lot of people, but they have aged incredibly well, considering they're approaching like what 4 years old now, probably 3 years old or something like that, and they're still incredibly good, and they're gonna be incredibly good, especially for this event in particular, as they raise their defense very quickly, as well as doing multiple additional super attacks, raising their defense even further. And on top of also being a tech-type unit, which is essential for the AGL Blue Evolution Vegeta phase at the very end of the event. And then, of course, as you might have seen by now, we also did bring along the Tech Gohan, Tech Ultimate Gohan. Obviously, I think that goes without saying. Everybody and their mother should be using them for this event. This goes without saying. I really shouldn't have to explain about him too much. I mean, he's stacking defense throughout the entire event, and then by like the end of the event, he's sitting at like a million defense or something like that. By the end of the event, he's literally untouchable, basically. So, I mean, it goes without saying, right? And then we also are bringing another combination that you might have seen from previous videos. We are bringing along the Tech Gohan and Goten GT duo, as well as the AGL Trunks and Goten GT duo. I did use them in my Joined Forces category mission video, and I will be using them again for this Siblings Bond video, because they work incredibly well, and obviously, as we saw in my previous video, they worked incredibly well with one another, and therefore they will be perfectly fine for this event in particular, right? And there's also this stage, excuse me. And, I mean, that's pretty much the entire basis of this video. Is just we're stacking defense non-stop with all of these units. The only units that aren't stacking defense are going to be the Trunks and Gohan and Goten unit, the Tech one, as they greatly raise their defense upon super attack, and if they get additional super attacks, they raise it even further. So they're doing perfectly fine. You don't need to worry about them. As you see at the very end right there, we do have LR Evolution Blue Vegeta with his insane damage reduction. I would say he's not going to link up well with a lot of the units on this team, but I mean, this team isn't really worried about offensive capabilities too much. I mean, because it's really just pure defense, this team is, right? And I mean, like I said, there's almost little to no difficulties with it. And then like Blue Evolution Vegeta, we're just keeping him in the third slot because like he's just having that insane damage reduction build up over time and whatnot. And then by the end of the event, I mean, you know, you really don't have to worry about him tanking a super attack and whatnot. I mean, you obviously do if the super attack just so happens to come in the third slot, but realistically, you won't have to most of the time if you're just keeping him off rotation for the majority of the event, right? Now, a lot of people might seem confused about it, but I did in fact bring Transforming Vegeta, because there is a misconception with Transforming Vegeta, right? Transforming Vegeta is bad. Yes, I will wholeheartedly say that, right? The thing about him, though, is that he's only bad until you actually get up to Blue Vegeta at the very end of his transformations. The physical Blue Vegeta, the final transformation of Transforming Vegeta, is really, really, really good. The problem with him is actually getting to Blue Vegeta. You're talking about 10 turns plus. I mean, we're at turn 8 right now, and we're only on his Super Saiyan 2 stage, right? So yeah, obviously it's a slow build-up time, and obviously I don't recommend keeping him on the main rotation either until you actually get to Blue Vegeta. As you might see in probably my next video, I do Worthy Rivals, and I do in fact bring Transforming Vegeta once more, because yes, I keep him off rotation because Blue Vegeta at the very, very end is very, very good, and of course he does link up incredibly well with Evolution Blue Vegeta as well. Once those two are on the same rotation, they're great with one another. Obviously, physical blue Vegeta is not like an absolutely god tier unit or anything like that, but he is very, very good, and especially on that first turn you do transform into blue Vegeta, he turns the entire field into physical type T-Spears, and that's a free heal basically for you, which is definitely insane for him, right? And then, I mean, it's just a misconception that a lot of people have. You can bring transforming Vegeta and get away with it. I do prove it on this run and my next run when I do the Worthy Rivals category mission as well, right? And then, obviously, like I mentioned before, I mean, the rest of the team is just, we're just stacking defense. I mean, as you saw, we saw AGL, Trunks, and Goten just tank a super attack from Int God Vegeta for double digits right there. I don't remember if I popped an item or not, because I wasn't paying attention. Now, the tricky part with the Go Bros, obviously, is that, yes, they have fallen off a little bit. They are still super, super insane, but this stage right here, the N-type stage, is obviously going to be the most dangerous for them, because unlike Tech Ultimate Gohan, for example, Gohan does, you know, stack defense infinitely, while Gohan and Goten, the LR, do cap out at like 300,000, which for the most part is going to be perfectly fine for you, right? You don't really need to worry about that too much, and he can tank a super attack. It's just getting through this final section right here, the N-type stages. Obviously, yeah, I mean, look at all that damage we just took for, what, 70, 80k per hit? So yeah, it does hurt a lot and whatnot. So that really, really sucks, and unfortunately, God Vegeta is going to leave us off with a super attack as we wrap him up right here, but it is what it is. I've said this in videos past and whatnot. I do strongly believe that the hardest parts of this event is going to be STR Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and the Int God Vegeta. I do struggle with him a lot more often than I should. Mainly because most of the time I do bring Tet-type units, obviously, and therefore the Int stage is so deep into the event, and he does hit like a truck. That is like the main thing with him, right? It's similar to whatchamacallit, the first Legendary Goku event, how UI Goku, the Master UI Goku, is the final boss of that event. He's an Int type, so you want to bring as many physical type units, but of course the stage before is going to be the STR UI Goku to kind of cap you out right there. This time, it's actually 2 stages prior, and then this one we move on to the physical type stage, which is really, really nice. If they had switched the typings around, if God Vegeta was physical and Blue Vegeta was Int, I think it would have been a much different story in terms of difficulty for this event, honestly, because this physical Blue Vegeta does hit insanely hard. If he was Int, then it would be a completely different story. That could potentially wipe a lot of different teams. And that's not even talking about AGL Blue Evolution Vegeta, who I've gone over very many times by now, who, you know, he's deadly. He's extremely, extremely deadly with that damage lowering effect on his, or defense lowering effect on his super attack. It's deadly, which it probably has killed you or me a lot of different times by now, right? And then, obviously, Tech Gohan's just, you know, he's being a god tier unit as always. It's gonna be a while before we see another unit on Tech Gohan's level, because I'm just thinking about going into 2022, Gohan's only gonna get buffed even more, especially, let's say, later in the year, once we start approaching maybe the worldwide celebration, we could, or maybe, the, whatchamacallit, Tanabata celebration for JP Dokkan. At some point this year, I do imagine we will probably see another Majin Buu Saga celebration, and with it, we could see STR Ultimate Gohan get his EZA, and then when he gets his EZA, it's over. Because Tech Gohan and STR Gohan link up incredibly well with one another, and if they do his EZA right, that might actually be the most defensive rotation in the entire game. That is something to keep in mind, of course. And then, obviously, as you can see right here, we are starting to wrap up the event right here. We do transform into Tech Ultimate Gohan, who obviously is insane in his own right. Now he's sitting at like 700,000 defense and whatnot, or something like that. He is super effective against all types for the first half of the enemy's health. So once Blue Vegeta falls below, like, I don't know, whatever yellow bar, what is it, the green or blue bar of his health, that is when Tech Ultimate Gohan will stop being super effective, but obviously since he's Tech, it doesn't really matter. And then he's popping off additional super attacks right here, doing big big damage for us, which is huge. And obviously, the Go Bros right here are going to do absolutely wonders for us. Here comes another super attack and whatnot. Which is exactly why they're so essential for this event. There are multiple ways to go around the Siblings Bond team. I feel like Siblings Bond won't probably prove as much of a difficulty as a lot of the other ones. I would say probably the easiest category missions are definitely going to be Powerful Comeback, and this one in particular, because obviously you do have a lot of power behind the Siblings Bond team with a lot of the Hybrid Saiyans, whom we all know are the most defensive units in the entire game. So that goes obviously without saying, and obviously this proves my point. We have nearly the full team is Hybrid Saiyans, and they're just stacking defense and whatnot. They're literally untouchable at this point in the event. So that's it. That's pretty much the entirety of Siblings Bond. Like I said, there are a couple of different ways you can go about it. If you want to, you can leave a comment down below. If you don't have, say, Blue Evolution Vegeta, I can substitute a unit for you. If you would so choose and whatnot, but realistically, that's pretty much it. I had almost, like I said, little to no difficulty with this run. I think I got it down on the first try, and then that was it. That's Siblings Bond right there. Again, very, very easy compared to some of the other ones, in my personal opinion. But I mean, it's a given. With Hybrid Saiyans, it's absolutely nuts. So that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys on the next one.